Good evening, it's 9 o'clock and you're watching News Night on DD India. Cyclone Nivar's landfall is expected near Puducherry at a speed of about 145 km per hour post midnight tonight as coastal Tamil Nadu and Puducherry are bracing up to deal with the landfall and its aftermath. We'll keep an eye on that situation as it develops. Plus, we'll talk about the robust arrangements put in place to contain the situation. I'm Amritpal Singh. Let's begin with the headlines we're tracking at this hour. Cyclone Nivar upgraded to a very severe cyclonic storm with wind speeds gusting up to 145 kilometers per hour, likely to make landfall between Karaikal and Mamallapuram post midnight. 25 NDRF teams as well as Coast Guard and Navy deployed. Puducherry and Cuddalore ports put on highest level of alert. Heavy rains lashed Chennai. CSR UGC net examination postponed in Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. Prime Minister Modi addresses the Centennial Foundation Day of Lucknow University, unveils the university's Centennial commemorative coin, describes the institution as one that has produced leaders in all walks of life, uses Raebareli coach factory as an example to hit out at previous governments. President Ramnath Kovind inaugurates the 80th All India Presiding Officers Conference. Union Cabinet approves major decisions to revamp economy. Cabinet approves capital infusion of 6,000 crores to NIF debt platform in the next 2 years. Cabinet also approves amalgamation of the Lakshmi Vilas Bank with Development Bank India Limited. The Ministry of Home Affairs issues fresh guidelines for surveillance, containment and caution, mandates states and union territories to strictly enforce containment measures, SOPs relating to various activities and COVID-appropriate behavior, sealing of 200 persons put on gatherings for social, political, entertainment, sports and cultural activities. States can reduce these numbers further. BJP's Vijay Sinha elected the Speaker of Bihar by voice vote amidst ruckus in the House hours after Sushil Modi releases an alleged audio clip of Lalu Prasad Yadav indulging in horse trading. Sinha secures 126 votes as opposed to 114 votes garnered by the Grand Alliance candidate Awadh Bihar Chaudhary. Congress stalwart Ahmed Patel passes away. The President describes him as a leader who's worked towards strengthening the Congress. The Prime Minister also says that he said he would always be remembered. Malayalam film Jallikattu is India's official entry for the 93rd Oscar Awards in the Best International Film category. It joins Mother India, Salam Bombay and Lagan as an official nomination. And first up, the latest on Cyclone Nivar. Coastal Tamil Nadu and Puducherry are bracing for Cyclone Nivar, which has been upgraded into a severe cyclonic storm. The powerful cyclone is expected to hit the coast, likely near Puducherry by tonight or post midnight. As per the Met Department, the cyclone is expected to hit the coast between Mamallapuram in Tamil Nadu and Karaikal in Puducherry. Meanwhile, a public holiday has been declared on Thursday in 13 districts of Tamil Nadu, including in Chennai.
Strong winds and heavy rain are lashing Puducherry and Chennai as severe cyclonic storm nears landfall. Both cities are plagued by waterlogging because of the downpour. National Disaster Response Force has said that they are preparing for worst as very severe cyclonic storm Nivar is hurtling towards the Tamil Nadu coast. Since Tuesday night, Puducherry has been experiencing intermittent moderate rain due to the influence of the cyclonic storm, which is 250 km off Chennai. The cyclone is expected to make landfall between Mamallapuram and Karaikal in Tamil Nadu late on Wednesday night or early Thursday morning. In its latest weather bulletin, the IMD had said the storm, which is about 190 km from Puducherry, is very likely to move northwestwards and cross coasts as a very severe cyclonic storm with a wind speed of 120 to 30 km per hour, gusting to 145 km per hour.
It is now moving northwestwards and likely to intensify into a severe cyclonic storm and cross between Karaikal and Mahabalipuram near Puducherry by today, late evening or night. At the time of crossing, the wind speed is likely to be 120 to 130, gusting to 145 kmph all along the Puducherry and Tamil Nadu coast. Chennai is likely to experience intermittent heavy to very heavy spells.
Speaking to DD News, DG IMD M. Mohapatra said the storm surge likely to inundate low-lying areas of north coastal districts of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry near the place of landfall.
अभी हम हेवी टू वेरी हेवी रेनफॉल एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं नेक्स्ट 24 आवर्स में. सो इसलिए जो एक्यूमुलेशन हो रहा है इसमें चेन्नई सिटी के अंदर भी लो लाइंग एरिया में इनंडेशन हो सकता है और इसके फ्रूट में फ्लडिंग हो सकता है.
More than 30,000 people have been evacuated so far from Tamil Nadu and 7,000 from Puducherry. Central, state and local governments are working in tandem. All efforts are being made to minimize damage. Tamil Nadu government appealed to people living in coastal districts to not venture out of their homes and requested those living in low-lying areas to reach the cyclone shelters in their respective regions. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Palaniswamy has appealed to people to stay indoors as far as possible and said over 4,000 vulnerable locations have been identified and locals officials have been told to ensure people's safety. Bus services in 7 Tamil Nadu districts have been suspended. Chennai airport has been closed till 7 a.m. Thursday morning. Southwestern Railway has fully or partially cancelled trains passing through the affected areas. Chennai Metro has suspended its operations till further notice.
First area of priorities for us is to provide relief to people either in low-lying areas or in vulnerable areas. So far, in the limits of Greater Chennai Corporation, we have opened 11 relief centers. We have a total of 170 relief centers, out of which in 11 relief centers people have already come.
Puducherry Chief Minister V. Narayanaswamy said that the Union Territory anticipates damage to crops, thatched roofs and old buildings besides power and communication lines.
All our people have been advised to keep indoors, not to come out. Holiday has been declared. 145 has been imposed, especially except on essential items.
Puducherry Lieutenant Governor Kiran Bedi has also appealed people to stay indoors and move to safer places. Around 1,200 National Disaster Response Force personnel have been deployed in Tamil Nadu, Puducherry and neighbouring Andhra Pradesh. 25 NDRF teams are in place for rescue and relief operations.
लैंडफॉल संभवतः 12 बजे रात से कुछ देर बाद लगभग 2 से 3 बजे के आसपास होने की संभावना है, जो कि 26 तारीख की तिथि में आएगा, 26 नवंबर में आएगा. जो विंड स्पीड है वो उतना ही रहेगा, 130 से 145 किलोमीटर गस्टिंग. इसी के अनुरूप तैयारियां की गई हैं. अभी इवैक्यूएशन का काम चल रहा है.
The Indian Navy and Coast Guard are also on full alert and have been adequately deployed.
We are prepared in all manners to render any assistance which may be required after the cyclone has passed in terms of giving the specialized diving assistance or the relief from the floods which are likely to take place after the cyclone.
All the disaster relief material is present on board the ships, and as soon as the very severe cyclonic storm makes landfall, the 4 ships will swiftly move in close to the coast and augment the disaster relief efforts whichever is required.
On Tuesday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to the Chief Ministers of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry and assured them of all possible help. Hopefully, just like the experience of the last few cyclonic storms, this time also the prevention will be able to reduce the loss of life and property. Bureau Report, DD India.
So this cyclonic, very severe cyclonic storm, as it's being called now, as it has been upgraded, is to hit post-midnight any time. We'll get to know the severity of the landfall, but arrangements have been put in place. As the report said, both governments of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry have geared up. These administrations have moved people, have evacuated people from low-lying areas which are to be hit hard. The idea is to be cautious, to stay inside, to stay indoors, but not to panic. But how the cyclone will really pan out, let's understand its impact on graphically on the map. If you see the map here, this is the area where the cyclone is going to affect. SES Nivar, as it's called, it's now being upgraded to a very severe cyclonic storm. These red areas on the map that you see are the areas that are going to be affected, primarily Puducherry and Tamil Nadu, possibly parts of Andhra Pradesh, Rayalaseema. There is heavy rain taking place. It is supposed to hit between Mamallapuram, which is close to Chennai, and Karaikal, which is in Puducherry. The cyclonic storm will hit between that and then move up northwards. You can see this trajectory. It will move up northwards. If we can understand this, it is basically the amount of the wind speed that it's going to hit at. Once it hits, it's supposed to hit at about 145. The winds could go up to 145 kilometers per hour. This gray area that you see, the wind speeds would be about 50 to 60 kilometers per hour. The lavender or the blue area that you see, the wind speeds could be 60 to 90 kilometers per hour. The light green, the green area that you see, the wind speeds could be 90 to 117 kilometers per hour, and the yellow area, that is the most severe area, also called the eye of the cyclone, could have winds gusting up to 118 kilometers per hour or beyond. It's also being projected that it could go up to 145 kilometers per hour, and that is why this area has been, this storm has been called a severe cyclonic storm. Now, these are the red areas which are affected today. There's heavy rainfall taking place. It's caused flooding in a lot of places. Because of that, the winds blowing, and these are the areas on Thursday that could be affected. These red areas are the areas which will be majorly affected. That's primarily north of Tamil Nadu, some parts of Andhra, Rayalaseema, Telangana. Well, these areas the winds could go up to, but these areas where rainfall will take place, southern Tamil Nadu would relatively cool down. So this is what is being projected as of now. But about cyclones, they diffuse, their wind speeds go down. We'll only get to know once it hits the coast. And let's now go across to my colleague Philip Matthews, who joins me from Chennai for more on that. Philip, tell me what is the latest that you're hearing from the Met Department, and give us a sense of what arrangements have been put in place to deal with the situation.
Well, Amritmal, I can tell you that, here the Met Office has just told us a short while ago that the cyclone, severe cyclone, is now about 110 kilometers southeast of Cuddalore, and is expected to cross the coast between, Karaikal and Mamallapuram around midnight or just past midnight at the speed at which it is going currently. So there is clearly a slowing down of the cyclone at the moment. So we will have to wait and see just how much time it actually takes to cross the coast and then enter the interior areas. But at the moment, the indications are that it will cross sometime past midnight, perhaps around 2 a.m. That's the approximate time we are being told by the Met Office. That's when it's likely to cross. And of course, as you mentioned in your introduction, the speeds could be anywhere in the range of up to 145 kilometers per hour. So that is what we are looking at. Now, just to give you an indication, in fact, we've been having heavy rains and winds in Chennai since early morning. And just to give you an idea, you can see a tree just behind me where I'm standing that has actually come down in the heavy winds that we've been seeing over the last 12 hours. So, in fact, the Chennai Corporation has actually been clearing fallen trees over the last 5 to 6 hours, just to make sure that most of the roads are open for traffic, and that traffic can be restored quickly at the earliest. Apart from that, there are about 170 camps, relief camps, that have been opened in Chennai city alone, of which 11 camps are already full. The Corporation Commissioner told us that more such camps are in place, and what's important is that during these COVID times, efforts are being made to ensure that social distancing is being maintained, people are wearing masks, and that efforts are being taken to ensure that the health of pregnant women and children are also taken care of. So the state government is leaving no stone unturned to ensure that all relief efforts are provided at the earliest to the affected people.
Philip, I understand 30,000 people have been evacuated in Tamil Nadu alone, about 7,000 in Puducherry. They've been put up in relief shelters. Give us a sense of the arrangements there.
Well, there have been similar camps, just as we've seen in Chennai. There have been similar camps that have been set up all over the state. In fact, especially in the coastal areas, places like Kadalur and in the Union Territory of Puducherry, all these camps have been equipped with essentials, whether it's food or whether it's other essential items like kerosene and other things, so that people can actually, take care of their essential needs. Medical supplies are also being provided, and as I said earlier, in these COVID times, social distancing is also being observed. So, as a sense, the sense we are getting from most people is that they seem to be happy with the kind of arrangements that have been made so far. But of course, a lot depends on the impact of the cyclone and just how much of an impact it has, especially along the coastal belt. We've seen the fishermen, for example, who've been asked not to go to sea for at least the next 3 days. Most of them have beached their boats and are now taking shelter in their respective areas. So at the moment at least, everything seems ready. The district administrations and the state government have taken all necessary efforts to make sure that, the cyclone Nivar is faced head on by the authorities.
All right, Philip, we'll leave it there. Many thanks for joining it. You have a long night. You stay safe, and we'll keep coming back to you. Many thanks for joining us for the moment. And time for us to slip into a very short break. On the other side, we'll talk more about the cyclone Nivar with our panel of special guests who are joining us on the show tonight. But that's after a very short break. Don't go away.
Let us leave aside slogans. Let us leave aside words which frighten people. Let us even make concession to the prejudices of our opponent. Bring them in so that they may willingly join with us on marching upon that road, which, as I said, if we walk long enough, must necessarily lead us to unity.
This great constitution has kept this country together and has kept the spirit of democracy alive.
Our constitution is great. It is the greatest national integrational force. It guarantees individual dignity and individual rights.
हमारा संविधान हमारे लिए सबसे बड़ा और पवित्र ग्रंथ है। एक ऐसा ग्रंथ अनेक चुनौतियों का समाधान भी है।
Welcome back. You're watching Newsnight, and to talk more about Cyclone Nivar, I'm joined on the show by Dr. M. Mahapatra. He is the Director General of the Indian Meteorological Department, or the Met Department, and I'm also joined by Randeep Rana. He is a DIG. He's a DIG with the NDRF, or the National Disaster Relief Force. I have with me Randeep Rana. I'll just ask my producer. Do I have Mr. Randeep Rana with me? Okay. Our in focus tonight. The in focus tonight, Tamil Nadu, Puducherry, all geared up to face Cyclone Nivar, which is expected to make a landfall. We'll talk about this. This is on your screens, our topic for in focus. Tamil Nadu and Puducherry all geared up to face Cyclone Nivar. And excuse me, as I said, I have with me Randeep Rana. He is the DIG or the Deputy Inspector General of NDRF. Mr. Rana, many thanks for joining us. Let me
good evening.
Good evening. Let me begin by asking you, give us a sense. I understand 25 teams of the NDRF have been put in place to take care of the rescue and relief operations. That means about 1,200 personnel.
Yeah, our team strength varies from depending on the mark in hand, and for this purpose, our teams are in strength of 25 to 35, depending on the location.
Okay.
And as you are aware that the forecast of the landfall, it is pretty accurate as of now, and the information available with us as per the forecasting projections by the IMD is that the landfall will be past midnight today, and depending on the severity effects on the areas, we have placed our team, and accordingly since they are available in Tamil Nadu, coastal areas which are likely to be affected, and 4 teams they are in Puducherry and 6 teams they are in Andhra Pradesh. Our teams, apart from post-cyclone response, last 3 days in Tamil Nadu and last 2 days in Puducherry, they have also been engaging themselves in community awareness programs in the localities which are likely to be affected by the cyclone. And in these awareness programs, we are briefing people how to stay safe from the effects of the cyclone, as well as from the ongoing pandemic COVID-19.
Okay.
How to fix the loose fittings, how to stay safe from the flying objects, how to stay safe from the kacha houses, walls, how to avoid electrocution. All these do's and don'ts, we are trying to reach out to the last man in the affected localities in the last 2 to 3 days.
Mr. Rana, if I can stop you here and ask you that people in the areas that could be affected watching this broadcast, what would be the key do's and don'ts you would tell them tonight?
Like before the severe effects of the cyclone, they are visible. The best thing is to be done is, if we are staying too near to the coastline in the affected areas, please abide by the instructions of the administration and move to evacuation. All the 3 states, that is 2 states and the UT, they have sizable number of evacuation centers, and people have moved there in large numbers. If still some people are still staying in their own houses which are unsafe, still we have got few hours. Please move to the safe evacuation centers, and those who are staying in safe houses, please fix up the loose fittings like outdoor AC unit. If you are staying in, if your house is, if it is kacha and that is under a huge tree, please take care. The tree might fall and that might cause damage. And once the severity of the cyclone begins, stay indoors. Unless the total effects of the cyclone has passed that area, please stay indoors in the safety of your houses and the evacuation centers. That is the best thing to be done till the cyclone effects are totally passed from that area.
Okay, and give us a sense of, it's raining heavily in the areas that could be affected, especially in Tamil Nadu. It's raining very, very heavily. Even Puducherry, the Chief Minister has said that there could be losses to property, damage to property, to the crop. The houses could be damaged. Power and communication could be disrupted because of this. So, what should people do in such a situation?
As per the advisories, there is likely to be vast damage to the kacha houses, thatched houses, and tree uprooting might be there in large numbers. Some electric poles, they might fall. So till there is electricity, people can recharge their mobile phones, their electric devices, electronic devices, so that if after the landfall, if the power goes out, they can stay connected for a few hours. And our teams, they are all equipped and geared up to start the restoration process as soon as the post-cyclone landfall, when the climate is conducive for the restoration work. Our teams, they are ready, the plans are in hand, and as soon as the situation is conducive, the restoration work will begin.
All right. Also, Mr. Rana, give us a sense of, if people need to reach out to you, to reach out to your teams, how can they contact you if they are in distress? Say the electricity is not working, in the area has gone into darkness, it's inundated, they are in distress. If they want to reach the NDRF for say rescue, how can they get in touch with your teams? Is there a central number that you have they can call up? If you can tell our viewers that number, they can get in touch with you, and your teams can help them out.
Like both states of Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh, as well as the UT Puducherry, they have a functional SCOC, and that contact details they have been the affected people in all the three administrative units, and our teams also, they have informed the affected people how to reach out to the NDRF people. It can be both through NDRF headquarters control room as well as our unit headquarters, both in Chennai and Erakonam, and through the SCOC as well. And through you, I would like to assure the people of the areas which are likely to be affected, when they wake up in the morning post landfall, definitely they will see NDRF personnel amidst them only. And before sunlight, our teams, they will be all geared up for the restoration work. They will be amongst the people, helping them, working with them.
Okay. And Mr. Rana, what sort of a relief can people expect from the NDRF team? How does give us a sense of how do you work there? Do they approach? Do your teams have a certain mandate for something else? They approach the district administration. What should people approach your teams for, apart from coming out of distress?
Yeah. Please wait.
Okay, I think we've. All right, Mr. Rana, we'll have to thank you there for joining us. Randeep Rana, the DIG of NDRF, who had joined us. So basically, you take care of yourselves. As the DIG NDRF was saying, the NDRF teams will be there to help people come out of. If you're in any situation of distress, you can reach out to them. They've deployed about 25 to 35 teams in the whole area and the whole region which is likely to be affected. You stay indoors, take care of yourself until the severe cyclonic storm passes. Do not venture out, try and stay inside, try and save yourself from flying objects, and try and be safe till the storm passes. What we know right now is that it has been upgraded into a severe cyclonic storm, which is expected to hit between Mamalapuram and Karaikal in Puducherry post midnight tonight, and the speeds could be pretty high. But the idea is not to panic. The idea is to to exercise caution, but not to panic. Well, moving on, shifting focus to Kevadia now, which is playing host to the 80th edition of the All India Presiding Officers Conference. President Ramnath Kovind inaugurated the two-day conference on Wednesday. The theme for this year's conference is harmonious coordination between legislature, executive and judiciary, key to a vibrant democracy. The conference will see is discussions on ways to ensure constitutional accountability of the legislature and the executive to the people. The event will end on the Constitution Day, that's 26th of November. November, that's tomorrow, with a virtual address by Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
On Wednesday, the two-day All India Presiding Officers Conference began in Kevadia, Gujarat. Inaugurating the 80th All India Conference of the Presiding Officers, President Ramnath Kovind said that the biggest challenge before the public, representatives and democratic institutions is to meet the expectations of the public. He also said that elected representatives should engage in a healthy dialogue in parliament and legislative assemblies and refrain from using unparliamentary language during debates in the house.
लोकतांत्रिक व्यवस्था में वाद को विवाद न बनने देने के लिए संवाद का माध्यम ही सबसे अच्छा माध्यम होता है। संसदीय लोकतंत्र में सत्ता पक्ष के साथ-साथ प्रतिपक्ष की भी महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका होती है। इसलिए इन दोनों में सामंजस्य, सहयोग एवं सार्थक विचार विमर्श आवश्यक है।
Underlining that none of the three organs of the state can claim to be supreme, as only the constitution is paramount, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu in his address said that harmonious coordination between legislature, executive and judiciary key to vibrant democracy. He also highlighted that harmony lies in each organ doing its job without interfering with that of the others.
It is appropriate for us to take stock of the harmonious working of the three organs. Harmony lies in each organ doing its job without interfering into the domain of others. This has to be kept in mind by all the three organs. This warrants a spirit of mutual respect, appreciation and cooperation. Our Constitution provides for checks and balances to ensure playing by the rules and harmony among the three organs of the state. It is a settled position that Constitution is supreme.
Meanwhile, Lok Sabha Speaker and Chairman of this conference, Om Birla, called upon all participating presiding officers to think about the constitutional responsibility on the Constitution Day. He also appealed the presiding officers to take oath for fulfilling the targets set by our great leaders.
बाबा साहब भीमराव अंबेडकर के राजनीति के साथ-साथ आर्थिक लोकतंत्र के सपनों को पूरा करने के लिए ये विधायिका और अधिक सक्रियता से काम कर रही है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also participate in the concluding session of the 80th All India Presiding Officers Conference on Thursday via video conferencing. The theme of this year's conference is harmonious coordination of legislative, executive and judiciary key to a vibrant democracy. The Constitution Day will also be celebrated on 26 November, marking the 71st anniversary of the coming into force of the Constitution. The event has been organized near Statue of Unity in Kevadia, Gujarat. During his visit, President Ramnath Kovind paid tributes to Sardar Patel at the statue and also visited Arogya Van in Kevadia. With Shishir Shehlar, Newsnight Desk, DD India.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi attended the celebration of the Centennial Foundation Day of the University of Lucknow on Wednesday via video conferencing. The Prime Minister unveiled the university's centennial commemorative coin on the occasion. The Prime Minister also released a special commemorative postal stamp issued by India Post and its special cover during the event. Prime Minister Modi congratulated the university on completion of 100 years. He said that the journey of the university is associated with immense achievements. And
100 साल की इस यात्रा में यहां से निकले व्यक्तित्व राष्ट्रपति पद पर पहुंचे, राज्यपाल बने, विज्ञान का क्षेत्र हो या न्याय का, राजनीतिक हो या प्रशासनिक, शैक्षणिक हो या साहित्य, सांस्कृतिक हो या खेलकूद, हर क्षेत्र की प्रतिभाओं को लखनऊ यूनिवर्सिटी ने निखारा है, संवारा है।
The Prime Minister exhorted the university to offer courses on local arts and products and called for research to do value addition to these local products. And
जैसे लखनऊ की चिकनकारी, अलीगढ़ के ताले, मुरादाबाद के पीतल के बर्तनों, भदोही के कालीन, ऐसे अनेक उत्पादों को हम ग्लोबली कॉम्पिटिटिव कैसे बनाएं, इसको लेकर नए सिरे से काम, नए सिरे से स्टडी, नए सिरे से रिसर्च क्या हम नहीं कर सकते हैं? जरूर कर सकते हैं। इस स्टडी से सरकार को भी अपने नीति निर्धारण में, पॉलिसीज बनाने में बहुत बड़ी मदद मिलती है और तभी वन डिस्ट्रिक्ट वन प्रोडक्ट की भावना सच्चे अर्थ में साकार हो पाएगी। इसके अलावा हमारे आर्ट, हमारे कल्चर, हमारे अध्यात्म से जुड़े विषयों की ग्लोबल रीच के लिए भी हमें निरंतर काम करते रहना है।
The Union Cabinet approved major decisions to revamp the economy. Amongst them was the go-ahead capital infusion of 6,000 crores to NIIF debt platform in the next 2 years. Cabinet also approved amalgamation of the Lakshmi Vilas Bank with the Development Bank of India Limited. More in this report.
The Union Cabinet, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has given its approval to the proposal for equity infusion by central government. 6,000 crore rupees in NIIF debt platform sponsored by National Investment and Infrastructure Fund. A condition has been placed that only 2,000 crore rupees would be allocated during the current year 2020-2021. However, in view of the unprecedented financial situation due to the prevailing COVID-19, the proposed amount may be disbursed only if there is readiness and demand for debt raising. This was one of the 12 key measures made by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman as a part of the stimulus to the economy under Atmanirbhar Bharat 3.0 on 12th November.
पहले तो 6,000 करोड़ सरकार देगी, 7,000 करोड़ रुपए ये नेशनल इन्वेस्टमेंट एंड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फंड जो है वो खुद इक्विटी के रूप में लोगों से लाएगी और फिर बॉन्ड मार्केट टैप करके लगभग 1 लाख करोड़ रुपए वहां से आएंगे और ये 1,10,000 करोड़ रुपए आने वाले दिनों में तैयार होंगे जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट के लिए लाएंगे।
Another important decision taken was approval to the amalgamation of Lakshmi Vilas Bank Limited with DBS Bank India Limited. With this, the amalgamation can move ahead and post that there will be no further restrictions on the depositors regarding withdrawal of their deposits.
लक्ष्मी विलास बैंक डेवलपमेंट बैंक इंडिया लिमिटेड में अमालगमेट करने का निर्णय हुआ है। डेवलपमेंट बैंक इंडिया लिमिटेड ये प्राइवेट बैंक है और 20 लाख डिपॉजिटर्स है। लक्ष्मी विलास बैंक के 20 लाख डिपॉजिटर्स, 20,000 करोड़ डिपॉजिट्स है, 4,000 कर्मचारी नौकरी पर है। इस सबकी सुरक्षा इस निर्णय में है।
Other decisions include CCEA nod to FDI acquisition of 12.32% of the equity share capital of ATC Telecom Infrastructure Private Limited by ATC Asia Pacific Pte Limited. The acquisition is being done as a result of exercise of option by Tata Teleservices Limited and Tata Sons Private Limited. It would lead to foreign direct investment in flow of 2,480.92 crore rupees. Newsnight Desk, DD India.
An election of new Bihar Assembly Speaker was held on Wednesday. Bharatiya Janata Party MLA Vijay Sinha has been elected as the Speaker of the Bihar Assembly. Sinha is an NDA candidate and had filed nominations papers for the post yesterday.
Senior BJP leader Sushil Kumar Modi claiming on his Twitter account that Lalu Prasad is trying to poach NDA MLAs in Bihar hours before the Speaker's election in the Bihar Assembly. Making counter-allegations against the NDA, RJD has said that the ruling alliance is breaking the norms of the Bihar Assembly. They objected to the presence of MLCs during the voting for Speaker.
माननीय अध्यक्ष के चुनाव में एक
महादलित प्रथम बार नवनिर्वाचित हमारे सम्माननीय विधायक ललन पासवान जी को श्री लालू प्रसाद जी के द्वारा जेल से उन्हें प्रलोभन देना, धमकी देना, सरकार गिरेगी तो फिर हम ऐसे कर देंगे, वैसे कर देंगे, यह तो एक लोकतंत्र की हत्या है।
महत्वपूर्ण बात यह है कि ध्वनि मत लिया जाता है और ध्वनि मत में किनकी ध्वनियां घुस रही हैं जो किसी भी सदन के सदस्य नहीं है। आप मत विभाजन होने दीजिए, वोटिंग होने दीजिए, फिर आइए।
The former Deputy Chief Minister shared a mobile number which he claimed Lalu Prasad was having access to despite serving sentences in fodder scam cases. Sushil Modi didn't stop there. He also shared an audio clip allegedly of Lalu Prasad offering to make a BJP MLA minister if he abstained from the Speaker's election in the Bihar Assembly that has been in circulation.
आगे भी बढ़ाएंगे वहाँ अब तुम कल जो स्पीकर का चुनाव है उसमें हम लोग का साथ दो तो उसका हम तुमको बनाएंगे, मंत्री बनाएंगे, कल तो इनको हम लोग गिरा देंगे, समझे ना। हाँ तो
हम पार्टी में नहीं सर,
पार्टी में है तो एब्सेंट हो जाओ ना।
Amidst this playing out on Twitter, the Bihar Assembly saw the Speaker's election held amidst more drama.
के पक्ष में 126 और ना के पक्ष में 114, इसलिए हाँ के पक्ष में बहुमत है, हाँ के पक्ष में बहुमत है। श्री विजय कुमार सिन्हा साबिसा अध्यक्ष निर्वाचित हो गए, घोषणा मैं करता हूँ।
BJP MLA Vijay Kumar Sinha was elected as Speaker of the Bihar Assembly by a majority vote. Sinha, who was the candidate of the ruling NDA, got 126 votes as against 114, polled in favour of RJD's Awadh Bihari Chaudhary, who was fielded by the opposition's Grand Alliance. The voting was marred by ruckus caused by opposition members who protested presence of Chief Minister Nitish Kumar on the floor of the House on the grounds that he was a member of the Legislative Council.
जो दूसरे सदन के सदस्य बाहर नहीं जाएंगे, हम लोग चले जाते हैं, हम लोग को सदस्य क्यों बनाया?
The chair, however, overruled the objections, saying, being leader of the House, the Chief Minister's presence is legitimate. The opposition also demanded voting by secret ballot, which was turned down by Pro Tem Speaker Jiten Ram Manji, who went ahead with head count after dissatisfaction was raised by the opposition over voice vote. Later, the Chief Minister, Deputy Chief Ministers Tarkishore Prasad and Renu Devi escorted Sinha to the Speaker's chair. Opposition leader Tejaswi Yadav also joined them on the request of the Pro Tem Speaker. Chief Minister Nitish Kumar congratulated Vijay Kumar Sinha on the floor of the House.
मैं आपको अध्यक्ष पद के निर्वाचन के लिए बधाई देता हूं। आपका अनुभव है, एक माननीय सदस्य के रूप में रहा है, मंत्री भी रहे हैं, तो हम सब लोगों को पूरी संभावना है कि एक विधानसभा के अध्यक्ष के रूप में आप अपनी भूमिका बहुत ही बेहतरीन ढंग से निभाएंगे।
BJP leader Sanjay Jaiswal said that he will file a PIL in Ranchi High Court seeking the shifting of Lalu Prasad to Tihar jail.
जेल में रहने के बावजूद रिम्स में बैठ करके और एक गेस्ट हाउस की तरह से रिम्स के डायरेक्टर का घर यूज करके जिस तरह से संवैधानिक प्रक्रिया को रोकने का काम किया है, उसकी जितनी भर्त्सना की जाए वह कम है। हाईकोर्ट को स्वतः संज्ञान लेकर के उन्हें अब तिहाड़ जेल भेजना चाहिए, क्योंकि रांची में उनकी सरकार है और उनकी सरकार सभी तरह के विपरीत आचरण करके कोर्ट का भी मखौल उड़ा रही है।
This is the first time as a BJP legislator occupied the Speaker's post in the Bihar Assembly. Since 2005 polls, a JDU member has always occupied the Speaker's post. With Bureau Inputs, News 9 Desk, DD India.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi today chaired the Pragati meeting. This is Prime Minister's 33rd interaction through Pragati, the ICT-based multimodal platform for proactive governance and timely implementation involving central and state governments. Multiple projects, grievances and programs were reviewed in the meeting. These projects, with a total cost of 1.41 lakh crore rupees, were related to 10 states and union territories including Odisha, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Dadra and Nagar Haveli. Prime Minister also listened to the grievances related to COVID-19 the Prime Minister's Awas Yojana, Prime Minister Swanidhi agriculture reforms and development of districts as export hubs were reviewed. Prime Minister also asked the states to develop a state export strategy. Prime Minister emphasized on the importance of grievance redressal and said that the focus should not only be on quantity of such redressals but also on quality. In the previous 32 meetings, a total of 275 projects worth 12.5 lakh crore rupees have been reviewed, along with 47 programs or schemes, and grievances across 7 sectors have been taken up in the previous meetings. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the virtual 3rd Global Renewable Energy Investment Meeting and Expo, the Reinvest 2020, on Thursday at 5:30 in the evening. The summit is organized by the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy and will be held from the 26th to the 28th of November. The theme for Reinvest 2020 is Innovations for Sustainable Energy Transition. It will feature a 3-day conference on renewables and future energy choices. It's expected to be attended by over 75 international ministerial delegations, over 1,000 global industry leaders and 50,000 delegates. It aims to accelerate the worldwide effort to scale up development and deployment of renewable energy and connect the global investment community with the Indian energy stakeholders. And let's now take a look at what else made news across the country in our segment National Wrap.
Campaigning for the upcoming Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation polls, BJP leader Smriti Irani hit out at CM KCR's TRS and Asauddin Owaisi's AIMIM over the issue of illegal immigrants. She said that the unholy alliance of both the parties support the cause of illegal immigrants, and that indicates what their political identity thrives on. Supreme Court stayed the Andhra Pradesh High Court directions restraining the media from publishing news regarding an FIR lodged on alleged irregularities in land transactions in Amravati. The apex bench has posted the matter for hearing in January. The Kerala court granted the customs 5 days custody of M. Shivshankar, arrested in connection with the Kerala gold smuggling case. The customs said it has arrested around 15 people, including prime accused Swapna Suresh, Sarit PS and Sandeep Nair. Uttar Pradesh government issued notification prohibiting government employees from going on strike for a period of 6 months. It prohibits employees in any public service in connection with the affairs of the state of Uttar Pradesh or any service under corporation owned or controlled by the UP government. CPTT issued refunds of over 1,36,962 crores to over 41.25 lakh taxpayers between April 1 to November 24, 2020. Income tax refunds of 36,028 crores issued in 39,28,067 cases and corporate tax refunds of 1,934 crores issued in 1,96,000. Corporate tax refunds of 1,934 crores issued in 1,96,880 cases. The National Investigation Agency arrested PDP Youth Wing President Wahid Para in connection with a terror case. Para, who recently filed his nomination for the District Development Council elections from Pulwama in South Kashmir, was being questioned at the NIA headquarters since Monday for his alleged involvement with the Hizbul Mujahideen terror group. The Delhi High Court has issued a notice to Delhi police on Tahir Hussein's bail petition in connection with a case related to Northeast Delhi violence. The court also sought a status report to file within 5 days and slated the matter for further hearing on December 11. In Himachal Pradesh, higher reaches and tribal areas received fresh snowfall while scattered rains lashed mid and lower hills. The minimum and maximum temperatures stayed 3 to 6 degrees below normal. The Indian Meteorological Department of Himachal Pradesh has issued yellow warnings for snow and rain during the next 48 hours in the state.
And senior Congress leader and Sonia Gandhi's aide, Ahmed Patel, passed away at the age of 71 on Wednesday. Patel, who lived a political life for nearly 4 decades, was Rajya Sabha MP continuously since 1993. Political leaders, including Prime Minister Modi and Sonia Gandhi, mourned his death. Senior Congress leader Ahmed Patel passed away at a Gurugram hospital on Wednesday at the age of 71. The veteran politician had been at a private hospital since his health worsened after COVID infection. President Ramnath Kovind, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed grief over the demise of the veteran Congress leader. In a tweet, the President said, an astute parliamentarian, Ahmed Patel combined the skills of a strategist and the charm of a mass leader. He said his amiability won him friends across party lines. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu said Ahmed Patel was an able parliamentarian and always maintained cordial relations with leaders across the political spectrum. Prime Minister Narendra Modi remembered the seasoned politician. In a tweet, the Prime Minister said Ahmed Patel spent years in public life serving the society. Mr. Modi also spoke to Ahmed Patel's son Faisal and expressed condolences. Union Home Minister Amit Shah condoled the death of the senior Congress leader and said he made a significant contribution to his party and in public life. Congress President Sonia Gandhi, while condoling the demise in a tweet, said, "In Ahmed Patel lost an irreplaceable comrade, a faithful colleague. My condolences to family and friends." Ahmed Patel will be buried at his ancestral village in Bharuch in Gujarat on Thursday. The veteran Congress leader was elected to Lok Sabha thrice and also served as a Rajya Sabha member for 5 times. In August 2018, he was appointed treasurer of the Congress party. Newsnight Desk, DD India. And now news related to COVID-19 pandemic situation in the country.
The Ministry of Home Affairs has issued an order with guidelines for surveillance, containment and caution which will be effective from December 1, 2020 and to remain in force up to December 31st, 2020. The main focus of the guidelines is to consolidate the substantial gains that have been achieved against the spread of COVID-19, which is visible in the steady decline in number of active cases in the country. The order further said, keeping in view the recent spike in new cases and in few states, union territories, ongoing festival season and onset of winter, it is emphasized that to fully overcome the pandemic, there is need to maintain caution and to strictly follow the prescribed containment strategy focused on surveillance, containment and strict observance of the guidelines, SOPs issued by MHA and Ministry of Health.
And Malayalam film Jallikattu, directed by Lijo Jose Pellicheri, has been selected as India's official academy to the Academy Awards or the Oscars for this year.
Malayalam movie Jallikattu has been selected as India's official entry for the 93rd Academy Awards in the Best International Feature Film category. There were a total of 27 films that had entered the race from Hindi, Malayalam and Marathi film industry. Rahul Ravel, Chairman Jury Board, Film Federation of India, heaped praise on the film's theme, production quality and Lijo Jose's direction and the reason behind choosing Jallikattu.
FFI has announced the Indian entry for the Oscars, which will be held in Los Angeles. And the film the jury has selected is the Malayali film called Jallikattu. Jallikattu is a story of animal, of a bull, which runs away in a village, and how the whole village and everybody from the neighboring villages are all joining in to actually capture that bull. But in reality, what we see is how the animal in the human being is the most dangerous animal of all. It's a very well-made film. The director's work is excellent, and film is mounted very well. I think from India, this film going to the Oscar will be a very talked about film, and I do pray that it comes back with an award.
Jallikattu derives its name from the controversial bull taming event that is held in the southern part of the country. The film is about a group of men coming together to stop a bull that is running wild in their village. Last year, Zoe Akhtar's Gully Boy was India's official entry to the Oscars, but the film did not get shortlisted for nominations. The 2021 Academy Awards will be held on April 25th instead of the usual second Sunday of February. Jyotika Grover, DD India, Delhi.
And that's it then in Newsnight tonight. But you stay safe till there is no vaccine in place, though some trials are happening. Remember, maintaining social distancing, wearing a mask is the only option. That is the only vaccine we have at hand till we have a vaccine. So mask up India, wear a mask and stay safe. Good night. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.